Hello, and welcome to the latest episode of Unschooled. Lexi and I are so excited to hold space with you always, and we're really excited and honored because today we have a wonderful guest. He is an incredible healer and shaman and guide and the founder of Ancient Healing Pathways, and his name is Stephen Kavalkovich, and we're so excited to hold space. Stephen, how are you today?
I am doing well today. Thank you for having me today. It's an absolute pleasure to join you too. It's been a while since you and I have talked, so it'll be nice to catch up, and might as well let the world know what we're catching up on, I suppose.
Right? Why not?
Yeah.
Lexi, how are you today?
I am fabulous. I'm so excited to be here, and it's a little Facebook stalking, so I'm like really excited to get to hear your story and what when I see shaman, it like lights me up recently, especially with all I've learned, and I feel like we need to come back of some ancient healing. So I can't wait to hear. So thank you.
Thank you.
That's awesome. Do you want to share with us a little bit about your magic in the world and what it is you do currently?
Well, I think, I'm kind of going to take this to a different place that you might not expect, but
Cool.
I'm going to start with my human part, my humanity, because I think that's so important. Because, we said the term shaman and a lot of images will pop up in somebody's head about what that is. First of all, I'm a white guy from South Jersey. So, their media misconceptions, whatever. But first and foremost, I'm a freaking human being. I live in South Jersey. I pay my taxes. I go to Aldi to go grocery shopping. I work a day job. I'm fortunate that at my day job, I get to work with individuals who are transitioning from state prison back into the community on a supportive basis. So I get to work in that world, which is great. I have children. I take martial arts class. I celebrate the holidays. Like, I'm just a normal dude. I also am fortunate I serve on the planning board of my town as well. So I'm kind of part of the pseudo governmental process as well, because I do believe, this is a community that I've grown up in since I was a kid. I've left a few times, but I always wind up back here, and I'm very invested in my community. So, being able to have a small role and a voice to kind of be a part of change, so to speak, is important to me. But I think that's first and foremost important to talk about that.
I think that's awesome.
It's not expected, because I'm sure, you wanted to hear about like, you're dancing around in the woods with, deer antlers on your head or something, which is cool. And there's a place for those things.
We'll get to that.
Yeah. I think it's just important to let people know that I'm not some otherworldly being or whatever. I'm just a dude who happens to, have been drawn to these types of practices for a long time, because they were a part of me before I entered this incarnation, I believe. So I'm just, but I guess the point is, you don't have to go seek out somebody in an ashram in India or on a mountain in Tibet. Both places I want to go, both places that are great and things that is valid, but you don't have to be somebody like special, so to speak. I don't know. I think people that's a message that I don't think people really hear very often.
No, I like to hear you when you speak about being a father. When I think of shaman, somebody who's gone journey inward.
Hey, Lexi, you're breaking up a little bit.
Has done some soul work, and it was like,
I'm catching it.
Okay, yeah, I missed a lot of what she said. Unfortunately, I know
It's cool.
Oh no. Okay,
Lex, I got you. Pop back off and pop on, and then we'll turn it over, because I'm picking up what you're putting down. So I thought that was really cool. And like, I always just open up that question with like, tell us a little bit about who you are and share your magic in this world and currently. And like, there are so many aspects of that. And so many people are afraid to show their human side. And I think it's really cool and awesome that you showed up with that first and that you wanted to bring light to that, because same thing, like we met in Atlantic City at a drum circle and just like hanging out and like talking this shit. And we've been, through all kinds of different real life, real world experiences that grow you into who you are, into the human that you are. And I believe very much that this real work and like the embodiment of a lot of the spiritual path, if you will, it's done in the everyday, in the moment to moment, in real life. And there really is a big disassociation between that. And I'm glad you're bringing and shining a lot of light to that.
Yeah, I think it's very important. And what's kind of inspired me, I guess this is going back to like mid-November or so. I was just actually sitting on my couch, and the thought that I happen to know this guy who's a reporter for the Philadelphia Inquirer, and he's been on Facebook. We have mutual friends. We've never talked, but I was inspired to send him a message and say, "Hey, listen, guy, this is who I am. I want to like tell my story with the interest of letting people see like, kind of like a Rocky story, so to speak, beat down and brought down to like, near death, to being able to rebuild, but also to share what I do now and to kind of let shamanism kind of reach the greater community." And so I sent him this message. And I figured, this guy probably gets pitched a million things all the time. He's probably going to tell me to go pound sand or something. But it was a few weeks before I guess he read it. And then he read it and he contacted me and said, "I just read your message. I'd love to have a conversation." And we did. And my story is going to be in the Inquirer now in the next couple of weeks, maybe next week. We're finishing up the final details. We've been meeting multiple times over the last month. Up to a conversation this morning. And I don't say any of that to brag or anything. I say that for two reasons. One is I set an intention, like I went with an intuition. Something came to me and I ran with it. And I said, I'm not going to sit here and take the time to, this guy's going to think I'm stupid, or he's going to think I'm trying to, use him so I can make money or something. Like, my intention is this, the thought is here. My intention is what it is, and it's a pure intention. And who knows? We'll see what happens. And here we go. So I say that to say anybody can, we can manifest things in our lives. Of course, I'm sure that's stuff you guys talk about all the time on here. That's part of it, but it's just what I wanted this story. And I talked to him this morning, and I really think the whole essence of the story is shining the humanity. Like, I'm willing to be as out there and naked to the world as possible, just to show you that you can too, and it's okay. That's the whole point. That's the whole point.
That's the whole point of incarnation and embodiment here on Earth, right?
That's kind of what I figured out. And, the healing stuff, and like, that's the other thing too. I'm just a hollow vessel, man. I'm not the healer. At least I don't see it that way. I'm helping you find the healing that was in you that you need to find, that's there, that you just need to be reminded of. I need to shake you up a little bit and remind you who you are. That's it. The rest of it's on you. And that's the thing that people miss. The rest of it is on you. People, we want immediate, we want automatic, we want push button, we want give it to me now. And that's not how healing works. If you walk 8 miles in the woods, regardless if you go see a shaman in New Jersey or Ecuador, you still have to walk 8 miles out of the woods. I don't care who you are. And if I'm wrong about that, please somebody prove me otherwise, because that's my experience.
I'm right there with you. And I love, you brought light to something that I try to act on and embody within myself as much as possible. And I share it with my clients and my friends and my family. But when you get a hit, like a really strong intuitive hit, typically that first thing is super pure. And then all the other stuff around it is your ego coming in to try to talk you out of it, to come up with the what ifs. And what it all comes down to is, what are people thinking about me? And when we can be brave enough to release that and truly just embody what we do believe or think is pure, without all the other stuff, it's amazing what can happen. And you just shared a story of that. And so, like, thank you so much. That's awesome.
It really is. And that's the thing. Like, we walk around in this freaking fear of what everybody's thinking. And guess what? Nobody's thinking about you. Generally speaking, you walk into the Target or something and, you're worried about, oh, I look like I didn't dress nice. I look like trash or whatever. Dude, nobody gives a shit what you, they're not looking at you. They're so immersed in their own shit that they're not interested in what you're wearing.
It takes so much to get people's attention. It's crazy once you actually really try to.
That's what I'm saying. And like, now a year ago, I can't tell you that I'd be walking around in like tie-dye like pants all the time, but today I am. Because a year ago, like I was still going through some of my process of self-consciousness and fear of what people thought. And I still get pangs of it, of course, because I'm human again. But my like my in-laws family, my wife's family, like a lot of them, like, they've noticed, they've seen my changes over the years. And like, now I'll walk over to their house and like, I don't care, like, whatever, like, this is, you see what you see is what you get, If you don't like it, there's 30 other flavors in the box. It's cool.
Sure is. Lexi, you look good. I bet you sound good now too. How you doing?
I hope I do, because like, okay, I'm so excited because I hear you say father and community member and a human first. And I feel like part of our thing with Unschooled is we want to like bring things to the front. Like, people have stereotypes about things and these containers. They think, okay, shaman, as you say, somebody dancing in the woods with antlers and blood and everything. And no, when I hear shaman, I think it's somebody who's done the work. It's somebody who's gone within, somebody who's had to face some challenges and who's put the time in. And guess what? Has gotten over that hump and now gets the bigger picture, is in the spot. And it's, as you said, you can't heal anybody. You have to heal yourself. And it's like lighting that up, that's possible, that's a possibility, that you can learn to heal yourself. And so to hear a father, I'm watching my husband go through his struggles, and it keeps coming up in his readings since he's been dabbling, letting me do some, pull some tarot cards for him. It keeps coming up, positive about having somebody to look up to, right? Think about the male role models. There's so many that are just in this like very narcissistic state, and we need some healthy male role models. I'm a mom to 3 boys, and I am gravely worried about the community that they are brought up in, the people that they look up to. And I believe in community. I believe in that it takes us in the community to stand up and fight for our community, to fight for the environment that we live in, and create that what we want to see. I love the fact that you're willing to come forward and share your truth and what you've gone through, and that you are not the same person, that it's okay to not be the same person, and that it takes hard work to grow, and it's possible to heal and grow, and that it's not a destination. It's not a one fix. It is a process. It's a new way of living. So I see you representing that for men, and like, it's amazing.
Well, I certainly appreciate it. And I'm going to take it a step further and say that, like, the thing is, like, I may, I have male body parts and, I'm a man, I guess. But the thing is, my right side is my male side. My left side is my feminine side. So in order to actually I think embody what we're supposed to embody, we're supposed to embrace both of those natures and work on the balance part of it. And that's a daily thing. That's a minute by minute thing, as far as finding the balance between the two. Because that's what integrity really means. We hear the word integrity and we think it's doing what I say I'm going to do, which is true. But integrity is also having the left side and the right side working together, because then everything works together. So we have to have both, and when I do like energy, I check people's energies or whatever, like, I can use a pendulum or whatever, but usually I could just tell by the way they're behaving. Like I could tell your polarity is off, and you might not even have the feminine side of your body flowing at all based on how you're acting. And I think that's a lot of what we see. If you want to go back, I mean, we're going to get a little crazy here. If you want to go way, way, way back and go into the, let's go biblical, right? They talk about, Adam and Eve, the Garden of Eden, the serpent tempted Eve, Eve ate the apple, Adam ate the apple, and then Adam blamed Eve. And it's been Eve's fault, the bitch woman's fault ever since. That's the way the story they're trying to portray to us. But that's just been stifling the feminine energy. And I mean, if we were to integrate those things and get them everything flowing properly on a global scale, I don't know, maybe we would actually see that large scale healing and peace that we all wish for.
I think it's going to happen because it takes each one of us to get that first. And I just think by getting on here and having that conversation and sharing that and going deep, that's how, you don't know where that seed's going to get planted in with who. And who needs that validation because they're feeling off balance. And it's the thing that it is those. I didn't even know it was a thing until I was in recovery from addiction, trying to figure out what the hell was wrong with me. And couldn't take any more. I thought Western medicine was it. So I went to school for it. And then that just threw me right out of it. And then wanting to fight,
her audio is rough today. Oh, it's a shame. She's saying such good stuff, but I can't hear her.
But we got a lot of it. So go back out and come back in.
Technology is great when it works.
It's what happens. And then especially when we kind of start channeling, I think, or when my energy gets excited, it happens a lot when Lexi and I are jamming. And just earlier today, I was saying to Lexi, like, I got a bunch of stuff done before one of our meetings. And I was like, I'm so grateful for my masculine energy because like, I love it. It's my drive. It's my gumption. I use it a lot. And so it's just been a theme like we were already talking about. Okay, Lex, you look a lot better. I think you probably sound better too.
I hope so. I don't know what it is with, we can't get internet here.
And we lost her again.
And it's so funny because Lex and I had a meeting earlier today and it was great the whole time until right now.
It'll happen. It happens. It's so good. It's all right.
Lex, maybe third time's a charm. Kick it out and bring it on back. But in the meantime, what's rising
Can you hear me on these at all?
Our conversation. No, we can't see or hear you, Lex.
No.
Sorry, sister.
Oh, it's all good. It happens. An option you might be able to offer her is to have her just call into the Zoom link on the phone instead of having her on video. It might work better that way. I've seen that happen before.
Yeah.
I'm in Zoom meetings like all the time during the daytime with like 50 people, and we do that sometimes.
Do right now. Try calling in, sister. So yeah, Lexi brought up a lot of really important things and so did you. And I think truly being involved in the community and just showing up as who you are and kind of practicing what you preach is really the medicine to a lot of this stuff. And we really do all have masculine and feminine rolling through all of us. And it's really, that is the great imbalance. And it's important each of us take a look at that.
It really is. I think that's the big missing link is really just addressing, calling a spade, calling it what it is. Like let's just stop hiding, being afraid of it. Let's just talk about it. Let's just get it out. It's okay. Like I don't know. We're just at that place, when people are really, as days tick by, people are really losing. They're searching, and most of them don't even know they're searching.
Yeah.
Like they're not even aware of it because they're so stuck in this old pattern of this is what I've always done. Most dangerous statement in the world is this is what we've always done. This is how we've always done it. Dangerous because it removes any opportunity for change. Yeah. And like, I'll give you, where I live, there's the community right in the neighborhood next to me. A company, a drug treatment center opened up, or they bought a house in that community, and they're going to turn it into a men's sober living. And the people in the community are, came out to the council meeting in December, with not pitchforks, like ready to, because they're like, oh, we don't want that in our neighborhood and our community. And, we don't want those people around here in the schools and the violence and the drug, all this stuff they're going to bring. So I came to the next council meeting and I got up there and I said, well, I grew up in this town. I experienced some of the worst trauma in my life in this town. I became a volunteer member of the fire department at 16 after I experienced those traumas as a way to try to rescue myself, so to speak, by rescuing others. Became a member in the fire department, wound up going to ground zero on 9/11 with representatives of this town. And then years later, I died of an overdose in this town. And if it wasn't for this town, the community, a lot of the parts of this town, I might not be here today. And I also serve on the planning board of this town now. So I'm not only just coming up here and saying what I feel, I'm actually backing it up by joining something and doing something about it instead of just bitching at the microphone. Because that's what you're doing when you're coming to the meeting. And you're not gonna, oh, well, I want to say what I have to say, but I'm not getting involved. Then sit down.
Right.
Sit down then.
Sit down then. Exactly.
Your voice is important. We want to hear your opinion, but let's leave the microphone for the people that are willing to actually get up and do something about it. You don't like it? Change it.
And in sharing your story, that is super potent and powerful. And we need a sense of community and a sense of home and a sense of belonging to our town more than ever, no matter what we've been through, especially what we've been through. And by you showing up there and being vulnerable and saying all of that and being honest with your story and claiming that as your land and as your town, that's really powerful. And thank you for doing that.
That's what it is. And so yeah, you heard me talk about my overdose and, I lost everything. I died, all that, and they say that's an initiation. And, that's one of the signs that, one of the things about how you kind of know you're called to the shamanic work is near-death experiences and things like that. So I've had a few of those. But I just know that, actually, I'll show you something real quick.
Yeah.
So when I
think you're back. Thanks for jumping in the car.
Yeah.
You look good. Let's see if you sound good. You want to say hi real quick?
Oh, I'm just dying because I just want to have this conversation, and it's technology. The gods are not.
That's all right. It'll work out.
It'll work out. Hang back and listen because Stephen's going to share with us.
Oh, I'm just going to listen.
So when I was about 13, 12, so I was about 13 years old. Yeah, this is 1994. I was 13 years old. And I made this mask in art class. And it's got all this symbolism. I didn't know at 13 years old what any of these symbols or any of this stuff meant. I grew up in a Russian Orthodox church. So all I knew was very Christian, very Eastern Europe, Eastern Europe, Eastern Orthodox, that kind of stuff. I was an altar boy. I didn't know anything about this kind of stuff, but I made this at 13. A year later, a youth pastor of the Christian church tried to molest me, and I lost somebody in a traumatic accident. Now, I found myself after those things happened at Borders and Barnes and Noble bookstores in the weirdo section in the back, the New Age, Wicca, all that stuff, what they would consider the weirdo stuff. I found myself drawn to those places at that age. And I didn't know what got me there, but I knew I was in a shit ton of pain and I was alone. I was isolated. I was ostracized. I was full of guilt, shame, all that crap. And somehow I was finding the answers there. I got Reiki 1 and 2 certified or attuned, I guess the word is, back then. And 25 years later, I share an office with the lady who attuned me all those years later. So I guess my whole point is there's no accidents. This representation was my soul telling me this is where you're going to go. This is where your healing's going to be before I went through the pain. I got messages before the pain happened. And I found this mask about right when the height of when COVID shut everything down in March of 20. I found this in a box in my garage, in my basement. And the journey since has been insane. I just can't even tell you,
It's
But
beautiful. And that's like, and I like how you bring light because our soul paths, they really do tell us when we're going to go through things. And you can even call in your astrological chart and it's going to let you know. And your higher self and your angels are showing you always, and they're trying to tap you into it. And like in Earth School, we come down here to grow and learn and see things. And as I think eventually we're going to create this path to be a little bit easier for those who come after us by us all going through it. But those who are going through everything they've went to, I honor it and bow to them because I think their soul chose it as a sacred journey. And I just think it's so cool. And I know Lexi has similarities, and I know I have similarities, and just remember like simple things like when I was 16, I became a lifeguard for, 10 years and a lifeguard instructor and all of that stuff, and found myself in the weirdo section, but in a small bookstore in Vermont called the Northshire Bookstore. And so I totally like resonate with a lot of things that you're saying and that you felt, and like tuning into signs before you're even conscious of what was going to happen and that it was going to be part of your journey. And I think so many people go through that, but don't connect it and don't get the opportunity to.
well, it's great. I'm sitting here thinking about like the astrological chart, all that stuff. Like, listen, I was born on 2/22/1981 at 4:44 p.m. I was a triplet, but the other two were identical. I was the oddball because I was in a different sack. I was a different, and we lost one at birth. 4:42, one was born, then the other, or 4:43, one was born, then I was born, and then the last one was born. All right, so like you just look at it from an astrological point of view. Like I came here for a purpose, and like I've always knew as a young kid before all that crap happened when I was really young, I always knew somewhere deep down there was a purpose, and it wasn't so I could become rich and famous. And of course, then I know I thought that, because I was young, I didn't know any better. But like, I know that like everything I do right now, like it was all planned out. Like this is what I was here for. And it was my job to go through the stuff and do the healing so I'm able to do it. Because that's the other thing I think people miss when it comes to doing this kind of healing work with people. I think my number one responsibility above all is self-awareness. Number one.
Yep.
And self-sacrifice daily and self-discipline. Those three are the number one things that I must have. And I don't have them perfect every day by any means. I try, and but that's why I have regiments. I have marble notebooks with like schedules of things that I routinely do that are built in, because the things that I want to have in my life, I need to implement them one by one, and I need to make them consistent to the point where they become automatic.
Yeah.
That's the thing we miss. Go watch The Karate Kid. Everything you want to know about life is right there in The Karate Kid. Mr. Miyagi will tell you so.
He will.
Yeah.
It's true. And there's really, there's just a lot of collective energy around discipline, devotion, commitment at this time, all of those things, because that really is where we find the groundwork. It's like you can be up in the ethers, get all the ahas, figure out all these magical, amazing things and gifts to the universe. But if you're not implementing it with yourself, if you're not showing up for yourself each day, and just like Stephen said, like some days are better than others. But I love to let myself flow. And I've got several things that I've got about 5 things I do every day. And sometimes it changes and I do them at different times or for longer periods or shorter periods. So there can be a flow in that. But I've found that once I actually let myself get non-negotiable about it and show up for it, changed everything.
Yeah. Well, and you want a lesson in how hard change is. So I got to be a part of co-authoring the Rutgers University, what is it? School of Addiction, or Center for Alcohol and Addiction Studies. They're creating a wellness companion, like book, like a handbook you could carry.
Okay,
and
cool.
One of my contributions that I believe is going to be in there is, here's an example. Here's a tip on change, right? You wear a watch, or do you wear, watch is the big one because it's an easy way to really, really illustrate this. But if you wear a watch on your right side and always have, put it on your left and call me in an hour and tell me how you feel. Oh, you want to rip your arm off, right? Yeah,
I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it right now.
Yeah, tell me how you feel in 20 minutes.
I will. We'll check back in.
Yeah, and then we'll get to see how hard change is. This is a lesson in grace. This is how we're able to give ourselves some grace when, that change that Sunday night, we prepped all the food and we got everything prepared. We got our lunch bag set out on the counter, and then Monday morning and came and we didn't eat the food and we wound up ordering Burger King or whatever. And, we're beating ourselves up. This is a way that we can exemplify how we can give ourselves some grace, cut ourselves a break. Change is fucking hard.
Change is hard, but like, I'm very much in kind of the whole Darwin theory of like, the only thing that is consistent is change. And the only species that survives is not the fastest, not the strongest, not the smartest, the one that's able to adapt most to change. And I invite it in so much. Lexi made some comments about how she loves how we have hints throughout life and accountability and showing up for yourself. Lex, you kind of look a little clear. Give it a try. Come off the.
Yeah, let's try it out.
I'm scared. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Better than ever.
Ah, yay. There was so much that you said that resonated. I feel like this is one of the most exciting interactions ever right now. Addiction. I didn't realize that you went through that too, because I'm actually working with a doctor. We've been talking about how like the change in diet, the change in perception, how we hold the space, how we show up for ourselves. And it's like recovery is about showing up for yourself, like starting to hold yourself accountable for your actions and your thoughts and, what you're choosing, how you're choosing to handle situations and perceive them. And oh no, change is hard.
Well, the one thing, I don't want to cut you off, but I have to say this because I will forget it. We like to hold everybody else accountable. We're good at that. I want to hold you accountable, but we suck at holding ourselves accountable. We have to reverse that. I have to be 100%, like really holding myself accountable before I can go pointing my fingers at you, but when I get to that point where I've become really good at holding self accountability, I can hold others accountability with respect and grace. Like I have 2 people just in the last 2 hours that, they're canceling sessions with me tonight that were booked and that are prepared, set up because they got thrown a lot of bonus money at their jobs. And I said, okay, that's cool. I get where your focus is. I understand where your priorities lie. I'm not angry at you. I'm not mad at you. I'm not judging you. I get it. Just understand, if you want to book something with me in the future, this is what we're implementing now. And it's not, because like not because I think you were taking advantage of me in the past, but this is going to ensure that you're not going to take advantage of me. And like, you're going to understand that I have some boundaries here. I have some strong boundaries here. And it's not, oh, it's okay, no big deal. No, okay, you're right. It's no big deal to me. It may be a gigantic big deal for you, but that's something you're going to have to look at. But it's like a matter of shifting my focus. Like, I'm not going to get all twisted up and say, oh man, 2 people canceled. I must suck. I must not be good at what I do. No. They're just in their place and I'm in mine, and I'm not getting in their way, Right. And, those 2 of those people, because I implemented some, I don't want to say consequences, but I guess that's the word, something that's going to ensure that, me scheduling time with you next time is I'm not futilely doing it.
Yeah.
Like,
and taking accountability. Taking accountability for your time. Your time's worth money. And I feel like when you set up to do this work, it takes, you're a parent. I don't know how childcare is in your area, but we have a serious childcare shortage and issue where we live in Vermont. So to make the appointment and set up that time, it's a commitment on my end to show up for you on your end. So you need to show, it's one of those things, and things happen in life. It's funny because I was just listening to Spiritual Fit Chick talking about how our family and things we use as excuses in our life that get in the way, and how they slowly slip in, and how we slowly let things think that they are more than us setting that time for ourselves. And how when we say that our family, we got to do this for our kids, and we then, push our time, we don't get it, that's not any good for your kids. And so it's just like getting serious about, your commitments. What do you allow to get in your way? Like this morning when you said it was challenging for you today, man, it was challenging. for us too. And it was one of those mornings where I was like, I was very proud. I told Mandy beforehand, I was like, I was so proud because I showed up today, not in my old self, but in my new self. And I handled it without getting in a tizzy, without, just kept finding the solution in the situation, the lesson in the situation, and moving forward and holding hope and trust. And I don't have the quote now in here, but the quote that I read was so perfect. And would have been perfect to share. But
well, I've got one to drop for you because this was one of the topics I wanted to talk about is commitment. Here we go. Hold on tight. Commitment is doing the thing I said I was going to do long after the mood I set it in has passed.
Oh, that's got to go on a sticky note.
I can't remember who said that one, but that's a good, I think it might have been Arthur Schopenhauer. I don't know, but that's a good one. Because that's the thing, like right now, I'm tomorrow I'm going to the gym because right now I just watched my, 600-pound life and I don't want to be that. So I'm going to the gym tomorrow. Okay. But tomorrow comes and it's cold and it's raining and and I woke up late and the dog's barking and, the refrigerator's not working, we have to suit up and show up or not. Like it's really, that's half the battle, just showing the fuck up.
Yes.
Half the battle. One of my favorites, if you guys like free resources out there and you're tuning in, one of my favorites is a TED Talk by Mel Robbins called How to Stop Screwing Yourself. And she literally talks about the neuroscience behind when we have an impulse on something, we then have a choice to act on that impulse. And if we don't act on that within 5 seconds, we lose all life force and motivation. And she really reiterates the fact that the mind is really like the body is a faithful servant to the mind, and whatever the thoughts are that we're creating, what are feelings are a thought in action, and the thought can be changed. And she like sits there and says, you are never gonna feel like it. You're never gonna feel like it. Very rarely do you actually naturally have that impulse to feel like it. But when you reprogram yourself and be devoted and be committed and be disciplined, things change, things happen. Then all of a sudden you've reprogrammed yourself and you really feel like it because your body gets addicted to all the new healthy things that you put in order to serve it. And then there'll be times where those ones fall away and new ones come in. And it's about tuning in to what it is that's going to serve you and giving yourself the permission, which seems to be a theme today, Stephen, of acting on that intuitive impulse and honoring it.
Yeah, and I the intuitive that thing, man. I'll tell you, I gotta share this quick one because this is crazy, right? So, I don't know. I'm actually gonna show it to you. So, I don't know, about 8 weeks ago, something like that. I was doing one of them spirit guided meditation, listening to the YouTube video, and it was just one, connecting with another spirit guide, And I felt for the first time this awareness of like my brother who died when I was born. And I'd never felt that. I've never felt that before. So I was like, all right, dude, if this is you, if this is really you that, coming through, I want to see a sign. And I want a specific sign. I want you to show me penny from heaven, but I have to know it's yours. It just can't be a penny. I got to know. So I finished the meditation, and about, I don't know, a couple weeks later, I don't know, 3-4 weeks later or something, I stopped at the Royal Farms gas station at 6:30 in the morning to use the bathroom. I walked into the stall. I looked down by the toilet, right on the floor by the toilet is a penny. I'm like, oh, okay, well, whatever. Anybody could drop the penny. So I picked it up, even though I was in a bathroom, whatever. I used to shoot dope in bathrooms, so whatever. It's okay. So I picked up this penny. And I don't know if you're going to be able to see if I'm holding it in front of the camera.
Right
You're
there.
probably not going to be able to see the year. Can you see the year?
No, it's pull it back a little bit.
Is that 1979? No, what year is it?
Pull it back a little more. We can't tell.
All right, so it's 1981, and that's
81.
the year. So I take the penny, I put it in my pocket, I leave. 2 hours later, I look for the penny. I can't find it in my pocket anywhere. Another week later, I'm on my meditation floor, little carpet here, find the penny. Okay?
Can't make that shit up.
Can't make that shit up. You can't.
I literally talk all the time about, is this sign signy enough for you? And so talking about like labels, I've been spiritually in the closet or mediumshiply in the closet and afraid to come out because of labels and stuff and my whatever. And in my work, in my practice, I always get from the other side that they're like, we try so hard to give you signs and they're never signy enough for you guys in your dang earth bodies, and vibrating too low frequency to catch on that that's the sign. Like, we're trying. And I love it, and it always comes through. So it's one of those things where I love it. I want to do a collection maybe one day of like, is this, here's our sign story.
I like that, tiny enough.
It always, the problem is we just have to pay attention. I think, we just have to pay attention and slow down and quiet down and give ourselves the time to listen and pay, it's there. Another one was, I don't know, around the same time, 6-8 weeks ago, I'm in a meditation. From my left side of awareness, the thought, ask for an NFL football player to help comes up. And I'm like, that's weird. I don't even care about football, but all right, give me an NFL football player. 2 weeks later, my phone rings, NFL football player. I'm not kidding. I worked with him for a few weeks, and we met a few times recently, and, but he's just a dude. Just a dude that, but the whole point is like, it's all, it's really all here. It's all available to us. We just have to be like, willing, and we have to be willing to not just have the mountaintop pretty experiences like the enlightenment, the white light, the real mountaintop experience. We have to be willing to climb the mountain. Because guess what? Even if you climb Everest, you can't stay there very long at the top. You maybe 10 minutes. It's about as long as you're allowed to stay up there. Because you'll die. You have to get down. You can't stay there.
Exactly.
That's the problem. We want to stay there. We want the quick fix. We want to get there. And that's so, to dispel the idea, people hear shaman, they think psychedelics. Guess what? That is a part of shamanism. Yes. I don't give people psychedelics. It's not legal in this country to do so. I wouldn't, that's not, and do I think there's a place for it? 100% do. I know there's a place for it. I can neither confirm nor deny my experiences in the past, but I could just say there's definitely a place for it. But because of the, certain, requirements of where I live, I have to, I can't do that. But what I can say is, just because I can't, that's not, like, I think that's kind of like an express lane. But again, you can have that experience. You can go to the jungle, you could drink the ayahuasca, and you could have that magical experience. But guess what? You still have to come down.
Got to come down. Got to still do the work.
Yeah.
Got to implement what was revealed.
Yeah. And then as you implement it, you'll be like, if you've heard the story of Ram Dass's guru, Neem Karoli Baba, when he met him, Ram Dass, like the guru asked him to give him LSD, and he gave him a tablet of LSD. It was like 200 micrograms, which is a pretty big dose for somebody who's never had it. And then he gave him another one and another one. He gave him like 8 or 9 of them. And he's like, well, shit, this is going to be interesting. The guy sat there, you would never know he took anything at all because he was so high from doing this naturally that didn't do anything for him.
That's how I felt the first time I did mushrooms.
Yeah.
I kept eating more and more and more. And it's just, I'm like, maybe I'm just naturally like this a lot. Like, I don't really know. It's very interesting. And like a lot of time, and I haven't tried like a lot of other plant medicines yet. I'm a cannabis advocate, as we all know. And we had a token of talk here on Sea Goddess Healing Arts. But it's really interesting because I do think that from what I can tell and understand from people who have shared their experiences with me, they really are just gateways to get you to a level of consciousness that you are able to access at any time. And they are a bridge to help you learn how to do that often. And I know there's been a lot of success recently with like microdosing and replacing anxiety meds with psilocybin, and people are really digging that. Instead of popping their Xanax, they're taking their mushrooms and finding and feeling a difference.
Sure. I mean, I could tell you, I've never been, somebody to doing like stock market stuff, but my very first 2 stocks that I've ever invested in were last month because my phone pops up. I just see this thing pop up about Kevin O'Leary from the Shark Tank investing heavily into psychedelics. I said, well, that guy he's an investor. He knows his shit when it comes to investing. I know what psychedelics do. I'm going to invest some money. So I invested like $100. I told my wife, thinking she was going to get mad. She was like, well, if you believe in it, invest more. So she let me take some more of the money that I had, and it's the first stocks I've ever invested in, 2 companies. Right now, the stock number is not doing too great, but whatever. The point is like, things are changing, man. So, we could either get with the program or, or we could continue to suffer, I guess.
Or continue to stay programmed on the old one.
Yeah. There you go.
I think it's time for reprogramming, and it's going to happen. And that leads me to wanting to ask you, and for anybody watching, what is your offering? I want to hear about your offering, what you've created, and your hopes, your intentions, and.
Well, I mean, I guess what I do work one-on-one with people. I have a couple of offices in South Jersey I work out of. I teach a lot of, workshops like shamanic journey workshops, pendulum workshops, things like, honing your intuitive skills or whatever, different things. But I really love to meet people doing one-on-one, whether that's Reiki, whether that's shamanic ceremony. It depends. I don't have one specific thing for everybody. Most times people come to me. The big thing I want to know when somebody comes to me is I want to give you the time to tell me your story. However long that takes, I want to hear your story, what you think brought you here. And while you're talking about that, and I'm listening intently, I'm looking underneath the surface, because that's my job because it's kind of like having one foot in the physical world. That's the human part of it. The other foot is in the spiritual realms. And I'm looking for, I'm tracking, just like I would be tracking a wild animal in the woods, for dinner, perhaps. I'm tracking to find out the original wounding. You're telling me about what's happening today. I'm looking for the original wounding, so we can go back and find that. And, that could be just as simple as us, like doing a fire ceremony to kind of help relieve some of that, to a full soul retrieval work, just a conversation. Sometimes that's all that's required. Like, not everybody needs everything either. Like, it's like, we're not Jiffy Lube. Like, I'm not trying to upsell you on shit. Like, if you come in and all you need is an oil change, then I'm going to change your oil and I'm going to send you on your way. It's not about that. I'm not, and that's the human part of it. I got a phone call this morning, ironically, from somebody, who I shared space with for a while, and this person wants to kind of collaborate or whatever, and but I said, well, what's going on here? What are you doing? Well, you're still living on mom's couch, you're not working a job, you got like 4 kids, you're not really doing anything. I don't know, man. Like, seems to me you got to work on the human part, like the human responsibility part, because I just think it's having both of those things. I'm not saying I'm not going to work with you because you don't have a job, but this is where you were the last time we talked. Like, yeah, I'll come and sit with you, but and we can have a conversation, but I'm not going to waste, I don't want to say waste my time, because that sounds egotistical. It's not meant to come off that way. It's more like, I'm recognizing where my energy is needed. Like, not everybody, I don't need to say yes to everybody.
You don't need to. And that's a super divine energetic thing, is to not say yes when we really mean no, and to honor that. And for me, as someone who has held space with people where you're showing up, you're giving them the seeds to plant, you're giving them some soil, some tools, you're helping them water it the first time, and then you come back and realize they didn't water their garden at all, they didn't do anything on their own. It's like, I already spent all this time giving you the same exact thing I'm going to give you again today, because you haven't implemented those things that we talked about before. So for me, it's not a waste of time. It's more like I'm not going to reinvest the same exact energy that I did before again, when I could be doing something different at this time. With that,
I heard of this Christian pastor at a church once. He got up and gave his Sunday sermon, and the crowd would really enjoyed his sermon. The next Sunday, he got up and gave the exact same sermon. The next Sunday, he did the same exact sermon. And they were like, we're getting the board in here. What's wrong with you? Why aren't you changing the message? He goes, well, and when you guys start implementing what I already taught you, we'll move on. You know,
I love that.
like,
I love it.
there you go. Like, you know,
That's
we
part of being a coach and a teacher and a leader.
you got to drink milk. I got to give a baby milk before I can give him meat. You know, well, the problem is we want to rush the process, and that it's not that simple. I don't know. We got a lot of things we should do this all the time. I would love to continue, but I have about 5 more minutes, and then I have somewhere else I have to do.
Wow.
I would love to hold more conversations, and especially because I'm really interested in talking about too with recovery space and addiction space and like that, because I feel like I feel like some really good conversations and things could be said and connected. And I feel like people are so busy worrying about like validation on the outside, they forget that we really need to be working on that inner validation and that self-awareness and going inward. So I feel like you're a great person for people that want to do that work, that like it's, you know, your light helping other people find their light. So I think that is so divine, and Mandy knows probably what I'm thinking right now. I would love to have my husband start a conversation there, because I think that he would listen to you and hear you out and resonate with him. Because I feel like when you've gone through addiction and recovery, you live kind of feeling like you've gone through that, so you're damaged, and like, you know what I mean? Like it haunts you in a way, and being able to release that and learn from that and see that it's part of your story and part of your journey and part of the process, and, you know, make peace with that, and that it can be powerful. And there's a lot of good things to come from our challenges. So I feel like I'm excited to have more conversations.
Sure, I would, man, anytime. I'll show up. I want to go to Vermont someday. So, you know, I went there once for like a minute. So like, definitely.
It's a magical place. Lexi's our mermaid in the mountains up there, and Lexi and I
have been telling Mandy. I have been visualizing and envisioning for a long time, and I'm like, we have to make it. And it's so funny because I really feel like 2022, I'm into numerology. I love numerology. I feel really magical things that are going to happen this year. And
your birthday should be pretty magical. 2222.
Yep.
Yeah. That is going to be incredible this year. We need to have you come up, and like, I would love to host even.
Lexi, my love, you're tuning out again. We love you.
We'll have to figure out what that is.
Yeah, you're more.
No worries.
But Stephen, how can our listeners follow you, work with you, get a hold of you, keep their eye out for you?
Sure.
What you like to put out there?
I guess the best thing to find me, you go to ancienthealingpathways.com. That's pretty easy place to find me. I'm on Facebook. That's primarily where I'm usually on social media. So you can find me Ancient Healing Pathways there, or my shamanic name is Owl Greyfire. I just have people call me Steve. I don't, but my name is, owl is like my spirit animal. I've always kind of had an owl around me always. Gray is because that's my basic philosophy on life. Everything's kind of gray. And then, there's really no black and white. And then fire is, in order for us to be refined, it's got to come through fire. That's how we change. That's how we alchemically change the composition of something, is through fire. So that's how we change. So Al Greyfire. But so you can find me there, Ancient Healing Pathways. Or if you want to find my personal name, kind of difficult, Stephen, Stephen. Forget it. Just find me in Ancient Healing Pathways. Seriously. Like, I don't know.
And we will share this show and tag you in it and put your links in. And thank you so much for sharing your time with us, with Lexi and I, and with all of our tuner inners. And if you're just, if you stuck all the way to the end, please give us a like, a follow, all the things, a subscription. We are on SeaGoddessHealingArts.com. We're on Facebook and Instagram, and we have this beautiful YouTube channel. So until then, thank you all so much for sharing such love and time and heart space with us. Take care.